Hello மக்களே, வெல்கம் டு another episode of the Isai Podcast. யூஸ்வலி நம்ம நிறைய டிஃப்ரெண்ட் பீப்புளாக நிறைய டிஃப்ரெண்ட் வெரைட்டிஸ் ஆஃப் பீப்புள் நம்ம இசை பாட்காஸ்ட்க்கு வருவாங்க. இன்றைக்கி அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு டிஃப்ரெண்ட் பர்சன் தான் வந்திருக்காங்க. ஏன் அப்படின்னா இவங்க த்ரூ அவுட் த நேஷன் ட்ராவல் பண்ணியும் ஷி ஹஸ் ட்ரை டு ரூட் ஹர் செல்ஃப் டு தமிழ்நாடு அண்ட் சென்னை. அண்ட் நான் இவங்களை ஃபஸ்ட்டு பார்த்தது இன்ஸ்டாகிராமில் பார்த்தோன்னே வாட் அ ஃபென்டாஸ்டிக் வாய்ஸ், எவ்வளோ யூனிக்காக இருக்குது இவங்களோட டெக்ஸ்டர் அப்படின்னு தான் நான் நினச்சிட்டு ஐ ஸ்டார்டட் ஃபாலோயிங் ஹர் அண்ட் ஐ ஸ்டார்டட் லிசனிங் டு ஹர் சாங்ஸ் அண்ட் ஷி ஹேஸ் அ லாட் ஆஃப் டெக்ஸ்டர்ஸ் டு ஆஃபர். ஒரே மாதிரி இல்லாமல் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் வெரைட்டிஸ் அண்ட் ஒரு வெர்சடைலாக இருக்கு அவங்கள கேட்குறதுக்கே. இந்த ஒரு பர்சன் எப்படி இருப்பாங்க, நம்மள்கிட்ட பேசுவாங்களா, அந்த மாதிரியெல்லாம் நான் யோசிச்சுட்டு இருக்கும்போது ரேண்டம்லி டெக்ஸ்டட். உடனே நான் எப்படி தெரியுமா அவங்கள கூப்பிட்டேன், ஹாய் ஐஷு அப்படின்னு கூப்பிட்டேன். அவங்களும் யா யூ கேன் கால் மீ எனிதிங் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்க. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் காலே கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 20 minutes. ஐ திங்க் வி ஹவ் ஸ்போக்கன் ஃபார் 20 minutes. ஒரு 20 நிமிஷம் செம்மையா ஃபன் பண்ணி ஜாலியாக என்ஜாய் பண்ணி பேசிட்டு இருந்தோம். This is Aishwarya Kumar with us today. Hi Aishu.
Hi.
இந்த பிஸி ஸ்கெட்யூல்ல அங்க இங்கன்னு போயிட்டு and the amount of gigs that she does, that's fascinating and I touch wood for that, and that's beautiful to see.
Thank you so much, and I'm also a true admirer of yours. I went and heard your songs and you have a fab good big voice.
Oh, thank you.
There are very few people who have big voices and you're one of them that I spotted.
Thank you so much. So நம்ம கால்ல பேசும்போது you told me about how you were raised in North India.
Correct.
And how you are based out of South. And நிறைய விஷயங்கள் நம்ம பேசணும். So generally this is not to discriminate or say one thing is high or low, but there is a region specific nature. For example, நான் எவ்வளோ என்ன அடிச்சாலும் என்ன பண்ணி நான் கத்துக்கிட்டாலும் ஹிந்துஸ்தானி is not my thing. So நான் எவ்வளோ ஹிந்துஸ்தானிக்கு போனாலும் I tried learning also Aishu, but somehow it was not sitting with me. Somehow it was not working for me, and I admire, I listen to ghazals and Sufi and all of those things. But எனக்கு நான் கத்துக்கும் போது எனக்கு வரல. So I thought, okay, maybe region specific நமக்கு இருக்கலாம், something that we've been listening to for quite a while, அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கலாம். இல்லட்டா maybe it's not in my element, maybe it's not in my aura to do certain things or sing certain songs. So இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ரீஜனுக்கு ஒரு ஸ்பெசிபிக்ஸ் இருக்கும். லைக் you being raised in the north, specifically Mumbai, right?
So I know I've been everywhere. So I don't want to specifically say anything, but I think I've had my childhood in Kolkata.
Oh.
So that's where I think I had like my little days, and then I think we were traveling here and there, but majority I think we've spent in Nagpur. Okay. Like that, in different places like that.
Haldiram's Nagpur na?
Yes, Haldiram's Nagpur na. So andamari
my childhood the school Haldiram's was always a luxury for us, like back in the day, obviously. Correct. So luxury irkumbodhu there used to be a girl in my class who would be like, oh my cousin is in Nagpur, and they will always bring Haldirams. Chumma adu seena nijamana.
But you know what is more famous in Nagpur? The oranges.
Oh yeah, Nagpur oranges.
Oranges, yes.
The mandarin oranges, the Kamala oranges.
Correct. And there's a season where you will just be like binging on oranges. It's like, yeah.
Is that? Okay, so coming back to I think we both are foodies that way, right?
Yes, I am. Over a period of time, I think I've become, and I think Chennai has made me more like that. Yeah. Not before.
Okay.
But now, after I've been in Chennai, I think yes.
I think after becoming independent and
Yes.
after earning, no, we are on the spending spree. Nobody can question us anymore.
Yeah, that is true. That is very, very true. Very, very true.
Okay, coming back. So there are different sensibilities for
Correct.
different specific region specific sensibilities. Like as I said, எனக்கு இந்த ஹிந்துஸ்தானி இருக்கட்டும், கர்நாடிக் மியூசிக் இருக்கட்டும், அதே மாதிரி வெஸ்டர்ன் மியூசிக்லயும் வந்து இப்போ வந்து ஆப்பிரிக்கன் அமெரிக்கன்ஸோட மியூசிக் ஜாஸ் அங்கேதான் ஒரிஜினேட் ஆச்சு, ராக் அண்ட் பாப், அப்படியே ஒரு இதா பார்த்தோம்னா ஒருத்தருக்கு ஒரு ஸ்டைல் ஆஃப் மியூசிக் வந்து பிடிக்கும் வரும். பிடிக்குங்கிறது எல்லாருக்கும் பிடிச்சாலும் வருங்கிறது ஒண்ணு இருக்கு. So you have traveled across India and you've had your chances with all kinds of music. Correct. So you're originally from Kerala.
Yes, originally from Kerala. From Kochi, yes. I'm a Kochi girl.
So again, going everywhere, how did you try to manage those different sensibilities, or were you a natural?
I think it just happened, everything just happened. And one good thing is that I think it is because of Appa or the transfer. He had transfers in different places. Anala, I had to pick up the language. Vera vadi illa. Like I remember we were in Hyderabad. And I had to pick up Telugu. Telugu was my second language. And it's horrible, but I'm saying this. Like my first exam, I got like a 2 out of 100. And I was like, oh my God, this cannot get worse. But today when I think of it, and I'm going to a studio, I feel like it's helped me, some format, like learning, reading, writing the letters, all of those things have helped me. So I think being in different parts, I've picked up something from there, and today it has helped my singing immensely. And because of Pune and Nagpur, I think Marathi is also, like it got, and then so I'm driven to listen to the songs from those regions, And of late, the kind of songs I'm getting, like I'm singing in Odia. So that is something I never expected that I will do personally. Dalchini song, and then I did one before which was Phalguno Chaitra, correct? Yeah.
My pronunciation is bad.
No.
But I've done my research.
I was worse at it. In fact, they had to sit with me before every recording session to do the words with me, because they are quite similar to Bengali, but avlo close solla mudiyadu, but it's like it's got its own differences and beauty.
Edavadhu or example solla mudiyuma between Bengali and Odia?
I think there's Odia, right? Yeah, Odia. I think there's a lot of R's, and also there's a lot of O's also. So it's like a blend. It's closer, but a Bengali person can understand, she's, like it can, if you change something here and there, and then it'll be a trouble for the language. But yeah, that's how it is.
But adum illama nariya dialects irukku.
Correct.
It is not something like this is the language. But Tamil eduthukktona எத்தனை திருநெல்வேலி, மதுரை, ஒன்னொன்னுத்துக்கும் கோயம்புத்தூர், ஒரு ஏரியாவுக்கும் ஒரு ரீஜன் ஸ்பெசிபிக் ஆக்சென்ட் இருக்கு. இப்போ நம்மளோட படத்துல வந்து என்ன கேரக்டர், அவங்க என்ன ரீஜன், மலையாளமே எடுத்துக்கிட்டா கூட
oh my god, yeah. So the northern Kerala has a different style of speaking, and the southern style is completely different.
வேற மாதிரி இருக்கும்.
Yeah. Like there's one funny thing that happened, and I have to share this. I think my father is from the northern side of Kerala, and my mother is from the southern side of Kerala. So I don't know if the audiences will understand Malayalam, but there's like one small incident that happened. So my dad told my mom to take there was one packet, and she said, he told her, Sheri, a packet eduthu chaadu. Okay, which in southern side would mean take the packet and jump. But basically what he meant was take the packet and throw it off. So it's like two different meanings, but yeah, so see how the difference is.
What other languages have you learned?
So Marathi,
Bengali, obviously.
Bengali, yes. Bengali I can understand and I can speak here and there. I used to speak when I was a kid, but then when you disassociate from the state, then you suddenly don't speak, then you don't know how to. Then, then Malayalam, of course, I speak. Tamil I can speak. Yeah, I can speak decently, fair enough. I don't know. Now, pesna in the audience say, "Hodi don't." But yeah, I can still manage, and I speak to the auto guys, and that's how I learned. Like the maids who come home, I like speak to them little by little. Akka, idu solunga akka, idu padunga akka. So like that, I've learned Tamil. But for me, learning languages through the songs have been a different experience. So I focus on vowels a lot, and that I learned when I was training opera. Then I figured even more deeper that there is a lot of game with the vowels. So in every language there must be one vowel that is constantly repeating. Now I don't know, I'm going to ask you, like, what is it in Tamil? Please tell me.
Tamil there are a lot of nariya a's irukum.
A's, correct. Okay.
ஆவும் ஏ அது ரெண்டுமே நிறைய இருக்கும்.
Okay. Nice. So that is the trick of learning languages. That is a real trick.
Correct. And also I've heard from a friend.
Okay.
இந்த மாதிரி I don't know if I can say that, but எனக்கு தெரியாது, என் ஃப்ரெண்டை வேணா அடிச்சுக்கோங்க. So there is a specific dialect in Kerala. அவங்க கொஞ்சம் பேசும்போதே பேசுறதே திமிரா தெரியும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think கொஞ்சம் on the northern side of Kerala தான் அப்படி இருக்கும்.
ஆனா அவங்க they don't mean like that.
No.
They just talk like that, and these people, other southern people feel other அப்படி சொல்லி.
Whoever told you this, it's absolutely right. But it's more towards the northern side of Kerala, not the southern side of Kerala. Southern side of Kerala is more, I think, very subtle, and northern side of Kerala is like completely opposite of the southern side. But yeah.
So as you moved across places, across India, எப்படியும் ஒரு இப்ப நார்த்ல இருக்கும்போது you would have had Hindustani training.
Correct.
அப்புறம் கொஞ்சம் இந்த பக்கம் வந்தோடனே கர்நாடிகா இருந்திருக்கலாம். அப்படி மாத்திக்கிட்டே இருந்திருக்க முடியும். கரெக்டா? So how did your music interest change according to the sensibilities of the region?
இப்போ in my childhood I have learned Carnatic. That's how I started off. Because சின்ன வயசுல when I was in the pre-KG, my mother was
That's all they know.
My mother was told by the teacher that a child is creating a havoc in this class and she's singing songs. My mother was like, I cannot believe this because she doesn't sing one word in the house. So the teacher said, no, she's creating a havoc in this house. So then my mother had to somehow put me in music class. So she put me in Carnatic. So that is my my first instance with learning Carnatic. Then when we went to the north and when I started going to school and everything, and there was Hindustani there. So then I got into Hindustani. Also, சின்ன வயசுல இருந்து Hindi songs were the ones that I was exposed to. Kishore Kumar, Mohammad Rafi, Geeta Dutt, and Lata Mangeshkar, Asha Bhosle, to name like all of them. So I've heard them since childhood. London Albert Hall concert of Lata ji, and so many of these I've like heard. So அது கேட்டு somebody told me இல்ல Hindustani கத்துக்கிட்டா you'll have a better command on the Hindi songs. And so I was like, I was driven by that. So then I went to learn Hindustani. At some point, I don't know why, I don't know from where, I was so attracted to singing Asha ji songs. Geeta Dutt is also somewhat similar kind of songs. Then I wanted to do something that's Sunidhi Chauhan or like, so my interest and my ear goes towards that side only. So then I was like, why not learn Western? And so, but I wanted to not learn pop. That I was very clear.
Okay.
I wanted to learn classical. So, not that I knew KM was there or anything was there. And I saw on internet where they teach this. And I saw Chennai.
அப்போ நார்த்லலாம் கிளாசிக்கல் அவ்வளோ இல்ல அப்போ?
இல்ல. So at that point I was based out of in Pune.
Okay.
So அந்த டைம்ல இல்ல. So I was like, எங்கே கத்துக்கலாம் இப்போ where do I go அந்த மாதிரி. So then I
How did you know that there was something called classical?
How did I know? Because I was watching the shattering of glass, and after that point somebody says
Saint Gumainad dana adu.
Oh yeah, correct, fine. Let's put it that way. And not only that, this whole concept of shattering glass was going on a lot of times in some other format also. Like I saw a video where somebody had put a glass in the center, and it was like, it just, when girl sings, it just like whoop. And I'm like, oh wow, can music do this? And they're like, I want to learn it. And not knowing what it was. Cool. And at that point, even I had seen Sam's application also, Swarna Bhumi Academy. But I was completely driven when I saw what KM teaches.
Correct.
So then I was like, okay, I want to do Western classical. I made it up in my mind. So this is not to put it any other way, but எனக்கு வந்து when I'm driven to learn that that form of art, I was like, I want to come to Chennai, like that way it was. So I wanted to come mainly for learning classical.
Beautiful.
I never thought in my dreams also I will meet Rahman sir, because I knew it was his school. But I was like, okay, if we meet, we meet. If we don't, it's okay, like.
Of course.
So it's all destiny and things like that. So yeah, so that's how Western happened. So Carnatic,
Beautiful.
Hindustani,
Western.
Then I stuck on to Hindustani and Western.
Beautiful. Okay, so like you said how KM happened, but how did Rahman sir's meet happen?
Oh, very interesting. So there was this thing when I joined college. College was hectic, okay, like it was like round the clock. Yeah, it was round the clock also, because at that point I didn't know I'll be part of a choir. I never expected that. And for me, it was so fascinating to learn the, like soprano, alto, tenor and bass. When I saw this, I was like, wow, I want to be part of either of them. Like, I don't know what I'll be part of. Of course, I knew I'll be a soprano. But I was not clear about what these meant also at that point, right? And then suddenly what happened was, there was an audition which in college, it was a saying that, it was a general saying, like, oh, this choir, if you join, it's not going to go anywhere, it's going to stay in Chennai only, they're not going to meet Rahman sir and all that. So I was like, I don't care, I want to be part of a choir. Being part of a choir is a big thing.
Of course.
So I was like, I want to be part of a choir. So adu mari I went and gave an audition. Oru afternoon da I went and gave an audition, and I remember 3 people were sitting in front of me, and தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் I remember Keep Bleeding in Love, I think that was the song that I sang, and I used to like that song, and so I sang that song, and I got selected.
Wow.
Yeah? But I got selected as an alto at that point. And then I was part of this choir, and within a month, I think, of training, Rahman sir announced a Babelsberg trip. Like with a Babelsberg orchestra, he announced a trip all over India.
Wow.
And I was part of the team. And I think that was the first time I saw Rahman sir in Delhi, and for the photo shoot in Chennai that we had with Rahman sir. I was like...
mind blown.
Yeah, for me, like, coming from nowhere to somewhere was a big deal, and then meeting him was another big deal, which I didn't expect, because it was not in my plan. So I was like, okay, wow, this has happened, and so this is how it happened.
Beautiful, beautiful. And did you, start working for him soon after that?
Yeah, so I think there were auditions at that time, so we were giving auditions constantly, and soon after that I got into his movie choir also. This choir was mainly to do with his background scores. So all the background scores were performed by all this orchestra people, with us being part as singers. So it was an entire thing of only background scores of Rahman sir. So it was a beautiful concept. We really enjoyed it. Soon after, I went to Germany with sir. Wow. Within, I think, 4-5 months of me joining KM, I traveled to Germany. Not even in my dreams I thought I will go abroad. That was with Rahman sir. And that happened. And then a year after that, another audition happened for a solo bit of one of those concerts. And the whole class had to give it. I got selected for that piece. for that thing. And then I went to Scotland, Glasgow, and I sang the solo for that piece called Elizabeth the Golden Age. So
Fantastic.
yeah, that's
So these pieces are composed, or
they're all composed by Rahman sir, but they are all background scores of the movies he's done, like Lagan's background score.
Okay.
And then there was the one that I told you, the Elizabeth
So
the Golden
you
Age.
guys improvised the lyrics and all of the tune on that?
Yeah, so in the background score, if you hear of Rahman sir, there were pieces like Chhoote Lagan, Chhoote Lagan.
Correct.
So all those pieces we performed live with the orchestra. So it will be like, yeah, it was I think it was my best ever thing that I've ever done with Rahman sir. Like, it was the best concert that I've ever attended of Rahman sir, which would be of a different concept, because all the other concepts are, you know, movie songs and this thing. And soon after, of course, I got into the choir of Rahman sir, where we travelled India. There was Thai Manne Vanakkam that happened in Chennai, so I was part of that. Then we did Sri Lanka, Malaysia, so all of those, Dhaka, so all of those I was part of. So yeah,
fantastic.
That was that was a completely different experience.
Beautiful. You also were a part of PS1 or a background score.
Yes, correct. PS1 background score. Then Alapuran Tamilan song. Then many of them, like Jab Tak Hai Jaan being one. So like that, couple of them. Kochadayan also, yeah.
So you were a full-time college student of KM?
Yes. And apparently that time I had a classmate of mine, name was Arpita. She was just giving up her teaching at that point, and I think she didn't take up teaching further, and there was one post vacant there. So my teacher was training me to become a teacher. So he just put me in that post, and then I started teaching. So I was teaching there for almost nearly 4 years. I taught in KM.
Fantastic. At KM?
At KM, yes. At KM I taught.
Right. So in the course, after your 12th grade, you directly did...
No. So let's come to the... Yeah. So basically I did my law. I'm a law graduate. So I've done my, you know, the lawyer thing. But in my 4th year is when I was having an eye on KM. Because of 4th year. And then the 5th year I was like...
So you were a proper law graduate.
Correct. Yes. A proper law graduate. The only difference is that I just took the degree. After that I didn't do anything with it, because I did internships in between the years, but I didn't.
But why did you go and choose it in the first place? So
I had an option. Like, my parents had asked me like whether I want to do music when I was when I was a 17-year-old, and I said no. I mean, I don't know why I said no, but I kind of thought I need a degree backup.
Yeah,
for some reason, maybe I was not too confident. But over the years, when I was in Pune and I started taking part in college events and things like that, and I was more into extracurricular activities, I realized that, okay, this is my bit. I mean,
this is your calling.
Yeah, this is my calling. And Appa always said one thing, and I think it was very, very clear. Do what makes you happy. You know, find your happiness in the work you're doing. So I think in 2000, was it 2008 or 9? I don't remember. 9, I think 9. I think I did an internship. At that time, I just, this was my 5th year, my last year or something like that. So I did an internship, and I was like, okay, I think this is not my calling.
This is it.
This is it. I mean, I think I need to do something where I'm being creative, because Sundays the only days I could do something. That was driving me mad. And office was also driving me mad, because it was an internship, but it was still driving me mad. So I was like, actual job will drive me crazy. So I was like, okay, now I'm jumping to music. And in my head I was like, okay, I will strive and do whatever I have to do, but I will work hard and be a musician.
Oh, wow. So எனக்கு வந்து ஒரு ரொம்ப கியூரியஸான ஒரு கொஸ்டின். இப்போ ஜென்ரலி வந்து ஒருத்தருக்கு ஒரு ரீசன் இருக்கும் டு ஸ்டே wherever they are, to be wherever they are. இப்போ நான் வந்து சின்ன வயசுல when we moved from Andhra, then Andhra, now Telangana, back to தமிழ்நாடு. என்னோட தமிழ் மக்கள் யாரும் கோச்சிக்க வேண்டாம், பட் அப்போ நான் குழந்தை, அதனால மன்னிச்சிருங்க. So அந்த I think I was in 5th grade or 6th, I don't remember which grade I was in, 4th or something. அப்போ வந்து ஐ டோல்ட் மை மதர் தட் எனக்கு டப்பா கட்டி கொடு, லைக் கிவ் மீ அ டிஃபன் பாக்ஸ், டப்பா கட்டி கொடு, நான் வந்து ஆந்திரா போய் ஸ்கூல்ல படிச்சுட்டு வரேன். பிகாஸ் இட் வாஸ் லைக் ஒரு டிஸ்பிளேஸ்மெண்ட் மாதிரி. என்னோட ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் அங்க இருக்காங்க, என்னோட ஸ்கூல் அங்க இருக்கு, நீ டப்பா கட்டி கொடு, நான் போய் டெய்லி போயிட்டு எங்கேருந்து இங்கேருந்து தமிழ்நாடுலேருந்து ஆந்திராவுக்கு டெய்லி போய் படிச்சுட்டு வருவேன், நான் அந்த ஸ்கூல் போவேன். ஸோ யூஸ்வலி ஐ ஃபீல் ஐ மேபி அட் தட் பாயிண்ட் ஐ ஃபெல்ட் ஸோ ஒரு மாதிரி ஒரு அவுட் ஆஃப் பிளேஸ். அண்ட் எங்க நமக்கு இது இல்லையே, நம்ம பிளேஸ் இல்லையே, நம்ம ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் இல்லையே கைண்ட் ஆஃப் அ ஃபீலிங். ஸோ நமக்கு வந்து இப்போ ஜென்ரலி வந்து ஒரு பிளேஸ்ல நம்ம இருக்கோம் அப்படின்னா அங்கே நம்ம அசோசியேட்டடாக ஃபீல் ஆகணும், நமக்கு அது ரிலேட்டபிளாக இருக்கணும், நிறைய விஷயங்கள் நமக்கு அது கொடுக்கணும். லைக் we give the society should give back to us. அந்த மாதிரி அதுக்கு ஒரு ரீசனும் இருக்கும், நம்ம ஏன் இங்கே இருக்கோம் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு. ஸோ யூ கம்மிங் ஃப்ரம் across the nation, why did you choose to stay in Tamil Nadu and Chennai? ஏன்னா நமக்கு ஒருத்தருக்கு ஒரு ரீசன் இருக்கும்ல. I just want to curious-ஆ இருக்கு உங்க ரீசன் என்னன்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்க.
Very interesting question. I think Chennai gave me something more than what I actually thought I would get. So Chennai is the place I think that gave me, of course, my bread and butter, but more than that, a sense of owning, I would say, and also a safer side I saw in Chennai. In my mind, in the back of my mind, I always thought I will go off to Mumbai. But at the kind of the quality of musicians that we have in Chennai and the kind of music you will probably learn in Chennai, I'm very proud to say that I'm happy musician in Chennai, and what Chennai can give me, I don't think any other state can give me. And that way, the kind of work opportunities we have here as a singer, if you can work hard and strive in the field, you can do magic.
Absolutely.
So I think that just, I think I can now happily say that Chennai is my happy place. Like I like, even if I go home after 5 days, I'm like, yo, I'm missing Chennai. This is happening, that is happening. So yeah, so I can happily say.
I totally can relate with it because I'm not from Chennai as well.
Okay.
But நான் ஊருக்கு போனேன் அப்படின்னா at least for you it's 5, for me it's couple of days. 2 daysலயே ஐயோ சென்னையில் நடக்குமோ, இப்போ நம்ம சென்னைக்கு போகணுமே, அங்கே வேலை இருக்கேன் இங்கே வேலை இருக்கேன். ஸோ டோட்டலி கேன் ரிலேட் வித் திஸ். எனிவே, கம்மிங் டு தி நெக்ஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின். இந்த கிக், ஸோ gigs are something that's your main இதுவா இருக்கு. Like you're doing like 20 gigs a month?
Easily, yeah, you can say it that way. Yeah,
that's super, giving some adrenaline rush dane adu.
I think it's how I started also, actually. And that we're doing a podcast, I don't mind saying it for the audience that I started literally, I had no plans of gigs were never on my mind. When I was studying Western and everything in college, and I got curious, even when I came to study Western, in my head I was like, playback singing or teaching, that was also running on in my head, like, so I was like, no, I don't think so, playback singing is the thing. But again, when I was closing to finish KM, I was interested in playback singing. That's when I saw people and I saw, like, like I had curiosity for playback singing. And adukaprom ennachu, I started off, somebody, a close friend actually, gave me an opportunity, and they're a big band right now, actually. His name is Pratap, he was my classmate. So he gave me an opportunity to start singing at Les Meridians on one of the Saturdays or something. So me and a friend from KM, we started an acoustic set. Completely acoustic. Just me and Ankesh. So I think every Saturdays we used to play in Les Meridian. And yeah. I mean, I bumped into Shautup ma'am. I bumped into a lot of celebrities. It was nice. They come appreciate you, and and somewhere down in my head, when I thought, oh wow, I can do a 2-piece set on my own. Why not a band? Then I slowly started getting enquiries for bands, and then I slowly obviously left singing at Leh, and then I completely moved into my band and my band setup. I started calling people, and then we made a 5-piece band. So wherever 5-piece band is there, and I slowly started off corporate.
Beautiful.
So like that, I got
Fantastic.
into singing for.
So I have a, you know, ஒரு இன்னொரு பியூட்டிஃபுல் எனக்கு பியூட்டிஃபுல் உங்களுக்கான்னு தெரியல. But I always thought, what, according to you, is a good gig? ஒரு good gigனா அப்படி இருக்கணும்.
Okay. So for me, I think a gig is also when we are satisfied and we are very happy on stage. More than that, if you are happy on stage, somebody in front of you will be even more happier. So that together becomes a good gig.
Beautiful.
So if you are, like, every time when I go to a gig, like even today, okay, I've been singing for so long now, at least, let's say gigs at least 5-6 years. So in this 6 years, I'm still nervous when I go to the stage.
Okay.
I'm very nervous. I'm always very nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I have a show tomorrow. What am I going to do? And I have certain rules and regulations that work for me. Like, I have to sleep early that night. I have to be well rested, well hydrated.
Yes.
So all of those things,
Absolutely.
So people think it's so nice. Like, a lot of people think, oh, your life must be so cool. No, you go for shows, you do what you like. And, obviously, I do what I like, but to maintain what you like is also a different,
Absolutely.
different strive on its own. The day I have gigs, it's very normal with me also. I sleep even during the day. Like if I have to go for a sound check at 3 or something in the morning hours at 11 or 12 also, I catch 20-25 minutes of sleep and then go. I have because our lifestyles are so different. Like you finish a gig at 10, then wrapping up, then getting home. Everything together becomes 12. Then catching an 8 hours of sleep. It's all very hard. And for a person like me, I wake up at like 6:30 very naturally. So again, I'm losing.
I think we are some soul sisters or something.
Do you also go through the same thing?
Exactly. எவ்வளோ லேட் ஆனாலும் I wake up at 6:30.
I think it's a common problem with a lot of us also. Because I've met a lot of artists over a period of time, and everybody's like, whatever you do, we wake up at the same time. But there are some that I meet, they're like, hey, we sleep till 8, 9, 10 mani varaikkum thoongo. I was like, what? How do you do that?
Wow. I know, right?
I was like, tell me, how do you do that? It's pretty much, like that.
So, speaking about gigs and all of that, how do you create an identity for yourself? இப்போ நான் சொன்னேன்ல, இப்போ எனக்கு இதெல்லாம் என்னதான் எனக்கு பிடிச்சி, இப்போ எப்போ பார்த்தாலும் I'll have all of those 90s, 80s, 2000s Raja sirs, Raman sirs playlist always there in my playlist. Every day அதை லிசன் பண்ணாம நான் இருக்க மாட்டேன். அதே டைம்ல நியூ சாங்ஸும் இருக்கும். பட் there is something that I always feel like, okay, இதெல்லாம் கேட்கலாம், இதெல்லாம் நம்ம பாடணுமா? What is my thing? What should I do?
Okay.
So, Anwari, how did you create an identity for yourself over the years?
I think for me, my main USP that I wanted to, and I don't know, it naturally happened. I didn't want to bank on it or anything, but எனக்கு அப்படியே different languagesல பாட ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும். So I go and listen to different languages, different things, and then I pick it up, and then I, so that I use as my USP for singing.
Very
so when
nice.
somebody asks me and they come to me or to the stage, first thing they ask me is like, how do you do this? How did you learn so many languages? How do you switch between Hindi, Tamil so swiftly? Probably go into Telugu, come back to Malayalam and things. So this is something I think I wanted to. I don't know, my bandmates only made me realize it.
Very
like,
nice.
you can sing so many languages. Isn't that a big thing for
You
the
can
whole
also
thing?
you can also put some classical pieces into it.
Correct.
Drop
So
some
that
French
is-
and Italian.
I want to. That is something that I'm going to be aiming for this year.
Yes,
Yeah,
do that.
this year. It's been going on for a while in my head, and it has not happened. But this year, for sure.
Then you invite me, I'll watch.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So what you do? Like, do you have anything like that other than music that you do?
So, all this while, nothing. But as of now, I'm dancing, which is something that I had when I was in Pune. And I kind of, when I came to Chennai, I was like, இப்போ வேணாம், இப்போ மியூசிக்ல ஃபுல்லாவே ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணலாம். சரி கொஞ்ச நாள் போட்டோம் அந்த மாதிரி. Now I just recently, I think in last year September or October, I joined dance class to learn, get back to my ballroom dancing. Ballroom dancing. So when I was in Pune, I was learning merengue, cha-cha-cha, jive. So these are the forms.
Dance,
these are all different forms of dance. So cha-cha-cha and merengue, they, of course, they are Latin form of dances, but I don't know from where exactly. But they are very different form of dances which I don't know, very few people teach. So I had a nice teacher in Pune who taught me all this. But when I came to Chennai, of course I started looking for these classes, but I never found one. Adikapram, off late I was like, okay, let me get back to salsa. Salsa everybody is learning and everybody is doing also. So I was like, okay, let me get back to salsa at least, and then I looked for other forms. But I think in Chennai there's only bachata and one form called kizumba, and there's salsa. So there's no other form of dance anybody's teaching here. So I thought, okay, let me get back to salsa. So I joined a class. So on Sundays I do this, because Sundays, not all Sundays are free, but some Sundays I get where I go and I'm like, okay, it's just 1 hour session, so I go all out, enjoy, have fun. I have some nice friends from there. And yeah, that's it. So it's like really a different world. Very different world. Literally, they have their problems because they come from an IT professional side, and you know, I have my set where I'm like, oh, I'm from an art. So they think my artistic side must be like so much
exotic.
You know, exotic, and you know, people tell you, oh, you get to travel, you traveling here, there. I was like, wow, but you know, waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning and going for a flight
and living out of a suitcase.
Yeah, living out of a suitcase is not that cool that you think it is. Obviously, you know, you miss home food, this, that, and
see, எல்லாருக்கும் as இருக்கும்ல அவங்க problem.
I wouldn't say it's not fun. It's a lot of fun, but at the same time, you are sacrificing a major part of your health also. So you have to, the days you're not doing things, you have to come back and think of training, working out, and you know, those kind of
Absolutely.
things. So you miss some things, but obviously it's your, you know, it's more than your work. It's you love doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. So your first Tamil song in the movie was for Kattapava Kano.
Correct. Hey Penne. Correct.
Hey Penne.
Correct.
So that really hit the masses. Yeah.
Yes, it did.
And people enjoyed your songs from then. அப்புறம் உங்களை போய் தேடி உங்களோட நிறைய songs வந்து கேட்க ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க. And அதே மாதிரி now you have sung for Yuvan sir.
Originally Enniya Ponnilave in Hindi.
Okay.
It's just, I think they have remastered it and redone it in Tamil,
okay.
And that they've done it different languages.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very nice. So அந்த கட்டப்பாவ காணும்ல வந்து I think the music director is Santhosh Dayanidhi.
Correct.
So Santhosh Dayanidhi and you guys are friends, or how did you start?
I was in KM, right? So we apparently, you bump into your senior. So he was my senior.
Okay.
So he just happened to give me one song which I sang with Abhay Jodhpurkar.
Okay.
That was his own composition when he was also starting out and all that. So I gave my voice. From then he would call me for small bit, and I don't know how somehow when I sang that portion of Kattappavam Kano, Hey Penne, I don't know why I felt like, I don't think I should be doing this and some other singer should be doing this. I told him honestly that I don't think I should be doing this. There's this nice singer that you can go for, and I think we had a conversation, and he also was like, oh yeah, let's do that. And I think they recorded her also, and eventually it came back to me because the producer was like,
oh, I like your voice.
Can we get the same girl or something? So that's how it happened. That was a thing for me. Like, I was very happy. Oh, like, okay, nice. And another big thing for me was also that it was with Sid Sriram.
Wow.
And a very close friend of mine called Alisha.
Mm.
Alisha Thomas. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
So, correct.
So Alicia Thomas is the one who sang for Anirudh.
Correct. She sang Don.
Don, right?
Yeah. So,
Fantastic.
so that's how the song happened.
Beautiful. So to many more songs, to many more gigs.
Thank you.
And
Thank
to
you.
a lot of peace, rest, love and happiness.
Thank you, Soundarya, for having me on this podcast. I really enjoyed speaking to you. Actually, I've never done a podcast before. This is my first one. And so I'm very happy and I'm waiting to watch it.
I will definitely post it and I'll send it to you.
Yes, and I will
on
also
WhatsApp.
post it.
Yes. As I said, again, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being you and doing you.
Thank
It's very
you.
good to watch people just being themselves on stage and doing beautiful
Hard,
things.
Yeah, because I'll tell you something very honestly. I mean, this is my experience, I would say. If you don't do you, you'll get lost in this world.
Illa? But at the same time, there are a lot of people who are not doing themselves.
Correct.
And when we
That's
see
right.
people who are doing themselves, that's
Correct.
something that,
Be careful of
spark.
things, but be mindful and
Yeah.
careful, but do you.
Yeah.
It'll do you a lot of good.
Correct. இல்ல அது பார்க்கும்போது எனக்கு ரொம்ப ஹாப்பியா இருக்கும். Okay, like the world is in a nice place. We have people around. We don't have robots and
No.
we have good people who are doing them,
And I'm
nice
so
to see.
happy. And a lot of people from KM are doing very well for themselves.
இல்ல
Yeah. They come
Very
out.
nice.
They are doing they're all coming out and doing music.
music இல்ல
And not that they're sticking to one platform alone. They are trying at different avenues and they're doing beautifully well. So yeah, really nice.
I think it comes from the place of teachers who have
Correct.
taught them, who have spent their
Also,
energy.
at the time I studied, I think there was a certain form of discipline we had to follow. And I mean, it was inbuilt into us that okay, this is how you're supposed to behave, this is how you're supposed to do. So when you come out, also you will do the same
Still do
way.
that, yeah.
That is fair.
Nice. Anyway, as I said, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast.
Thank
And
you.
keep being yourself and keep doing you. And I would like to keep following you and get
The
inspired.
same
from you.
thing. I'm going to be doing the same thing.
Thank you. இதே மாதிரி இன்னொரு ஃபென்டாஸ்டிக்கான கெஸ்டோட இன்னொரு ஃபென்டாஸ்டிக் எபிசோட்ல நான் உங்களை மீட் பண்றேன். அது வரைக்கும் this is me R Soundarya signing off from the Isai Podcast. Da 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 da